I'm Colette Rogers, the Education Sector Lead Partner at Deloitte. We're really delighted to have this opportunity to release, in partnership with EduGrowth, the 2019 Australian EdTech Census.
David LINKE, Managing Director of EduGrowth. It's a great honour to support the Australian EdTech ecosystem go globally and impact global communities with Australian education.
In 2012, Deloitte published a report that predicted that digital disruption was going to have a significant impact on the education sector in 2015 to 2017. I think that certainly occurred in terms of education providers seeking to understand their digital strategies, putting in place their ICT infrastructure and really building in their core learning management systems and thinking about online delivery. I think what we're seeing now is the continuous, and since that time, the continuous evolution of education technologies and a real maturing of the market. And you can very much see that in terms of the growth of the EdTech sector, the innovation and energy in it, which has really come a long way since we did the survey in 2017.
And this year we've seen a great change in our census themes, and some of the things that we've been building have been borne out by the data, and we're seeing that the EdTech ecosystem is significantly growing, it's maturing, we're seeing the companies within it are maturing.
The thing that's driving the adoption of education technology is really the expectations of students of a better experience, the expectations of academics, the expectations of researchers of a better experience. In terms of education providers, what we're also seeing is a maturity in terms of their understanding of the EdTech market. And so they're looking at their education technology ecosystem holistically.
A key insight this time around in the 2019 census is a greater proportion of organisations with higher levels of revenue, fewer startups, more scale-ups, and greater progress, so far more activity as opposed to ideas phase sort of startup. In the early stages of a market, you typically see a lot of organisations very focused on trying to raise capital, whereas in a more mature market, you start to see other challenges coming through, and that is definitely evidenced in this census.
So one of the interesting themes as I travel around Australia talking to EdTech entrepreneurs is the balance between raising capital and finding customers. And there seems to be a distinct move from finding more and more capital and instead actually putting all of that energy into finding more customers. The idea of born global companies is a fantastic idea because the EdTech ecosystem, if you're a successful Australian EdTech company, you are going to be delivering product to offshore students. There's been a really interesting change in census data that we've seen this time around. And what we're seeing is that the things that are most important to EdTech companies to grow is really the talent that they can access. And so there is a really nice opportunity in the innovation sector across Australia, is where if you get talent developed in one sector, it's translatable. So highly skilled employees will help the EdTech sector grow. The 2019 data shows a change in the way that entrepreneurs are getting their support, especially in the EdTech space. So traditionally we've been relying upon advisory boards or even formal boards, but they are really heavily invested people, sometimes the investors in the business themselves, which makes it hard for the entrepreneur to get independent advice that may not have implications or ramifications for them. So what we're seeing is that they're wanting informal structures to connect with peers, to connect with colleagues on a regular basis, people who are going on the same journey as them.